You have only one here. You only one.
Okay, I'm watching them I'll get pictures for you.
Sure.
I'll be on.
Nice. I'll show you.
You are leaving something to decompose, it takes months, 4, 5, 6 months to decompose and become like soil. And then when you put it in a panel, you manage it after 2 weeks, it is pumping. This is how we are able to assure that we are producing enough organic fertilizer for the agricultural sector. So with all of this, we are able to produce 3,000 to 5,000 bags of compost every day. Every day we are telling about which panel we are using. Every day we have a new bag of people in the country. Thank you. prepared chopping plants.
Ok, donc je vais faire un truc.
This is on our right hand side. Mr. Chairman, we talked about the solar panels we are just about to install. In fact, the boxes in front here carry the solar panels that we were talking about. We are just about to start the installation
Ma femme a encore.
conjunction with the national grid.
Et encore pas.
These are the chaff that you see coming out, and a very fresh organic compost, which will now go for quality control and then bagging. Water entering the container over here. So this is part of our compost screening system.
D'accord.
Plastic recycling. The recommend pure water saturation. Packaging material, what they also can, we produce pellets out of them, like the shampoo gallons and the other things. When they also come, we shred first in this form, shred, then form pellets. The pellets take after the color of the material. The whiter they are, the whiter the pellets. The whiter pellets fetch for more money. So some customers request that we separate whites for them. Some also are okay with these pellets, but then it goes for slightly less value. Then other types of plastics also pelletize. The only plastic so far we don't pelletize here at the moment is the PET bottles. PET bottles are the PET bottles that we have in. What we do is that we flake them. When we spread them or crush them like this, we call them flakes. These flakes also get good value on the market. And these are also packaged for export. Some customers want them built like we saw in the sorting plant. Rather we build or we flake them. But all the other types of plastics, pelletize. We send these back to the for the markets, the plastic chairs, those come from Ghana. I should mention also that Soon Lion, our sister company, all within those companies, is one of the biggest buyers of the plastic. They need them to produce things. 1 million bins every year that we produce and distribute to the households. We are also supplied to but we also supply to other off-takers of plastic in the country. In a nutshell, that is what we do here. We have the requisite machines for shredding the compartment. every day, went to about 220 degrees Celsius. Then it comes out looking like this. So this is pellets, plastic pellets, fresh from the pelletizing setup. And we do a lot of this every day. And we're able to, like we are saying, recover. This one is domestic demand. So all the pellets are used domestically. It's only the PET bottles that are exported. Everything else is used within Ghana. The lowest quality of them are used for quality bags. The highest quality of them go for buckets and caps and helmets and other things. The fertilizer will show you where we do it also. There also we do 3,000 to 5,000 bags in a day. Yes, please. This come again. The paint. Okay, there's some plastic used for paint, but nobody buys any of this for paint in Ghana. I'm not too sure. But the one who buy from us here, they use them for buckets. Yes. This can be for
Viva.
So please, on the journey to forming compost, we go through several stages. The first one is to recover materials that are eligible as organics. When they are taken from the social plant, we have to do some further steps of screening. So we do all those, and then we are left with mostly organics. After that, we go through some maturation. Every organic material needs time to decompose, break down, and then become more particulate. So going through the stages, you see that going through you have material that is smaller, but still in this chunk, you find that there are a lot of glasses, some stones, a little bit of leftover plastics. We also able to remove all of these with the machine that we have, some of which we saw when we were on the move, all the way until we get this material, which you can see is very clean and free of all the kinds of contraries and contaminants that you can see. When we have this, what we do is that we do quality control. So we take this to the laboratory, we run heavy metal analysis and then microbial analysis to make sure that all germs, all pathogens, all other contaminations have been removed from it. Naturally, our composting process in the tunnels, as we saw, it raises to a temperature of about 75 degrees. So it sterilizes all the germs, but we still have to check in the lab that everything has been done as expected. And once this is good to go, we then bag it into the 50-kilogram bags. These are what we are doing, quite a lot of them every day, every week. And as we are speaking now, we are supplying quite a lot. The government is doing supplies of compost for smallholder farmers for southern, middle, northern zones. We are also partakers in this. We've been partakers in PFJ1, PFJ2, and now we are partakers also in Operation Free Ghana. We are also able to help the Free Ghana agenda. Thank you. When you look around here, you see that we have some machines running. These are automated bagging machines, which help us to churn out bags, so many that we need. Yes, we produce 3,000 bags. We do it in batches. So we have 24-hour economy. We were even here before 24-hour economy came. We have staff that stay over all the 24 hours. So we are also future ready. 24 hours we are there, sir. Yes. Thank you. We have other brands. I think it was mentioned briefly when we were in the conference room. This is the standard general compost we produce. We also produce the liquid fertilizer. And then we also produce other forms of compost for special markets. So there are some markets where they are asking for, this is a standard NPK in organic form. But there are people who are asking for more nitrogen or more phosphorus, more potassium, depending on what they are trying to grow. So as and when they need, we also produce batches for them in different bags. But this is our standard compost that Ministry of Food and Agri typically is buying from us all year round. That we are also supplying to other farmers all year round. Thank you. Yes, this is at a retail price of 75 Ghana cedis. But when people buy in bulk, we can consider discounts for them. Yes, we don't directly export, but some of our buyers export them. So there are people in Ghana. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, we can, exactly. Yes, please. In fact, we have customers all the way in Nigeria, but Burkina is very common to grow onions and other things they buy. And then also in Côte d'Ivoire to grow cocoa and other things. Some of our distributors who buy, they take them to other countries. Yes, please. I think it's a very good point. Yes. We didn't just form group, we started the rice farming of fleet. Rice farming just from has started of fleet. And last year we were able to produce quite a lot of bags for the first time. We are looking to grow our farming fleet. Yes. And once the rice is going on, then the cassava and other things we expect to take up. Very rich. We call it multi-dimensional. Normally when you have manure or green, black soil, it's just from one type of like soil. It's only in one area, maybe if it's nitrogenous, because it's just from one tree in the forest or one plant. But this is a mixture of everything. There's meat in it, there's fufu in it, there's bamboo in it. There are all kinds of leftover food in it, which have formed this. And when you do your laboratory test in the labs, these are some of the best organic materials in the world. The food from Ghana and then the organic waste from Ghana is very good compost. We benchmark this against Canadian, American, EU, Israeli, Australian compost, and this is world class because our compost in the waste is very rich. Yes, we have the liquid fertilizer also. There's a way to soak this, then take out the liquid from there. Some people that prefer to spray the nutrients on the farm, depending on what they are doing. So we also have the liquid one that we also supply. Thank you. So, Chairman, we may then proceed to the golf carts and then move to our next audience.
And I mentioned earlier that this is a 1,000 cubic meter per day facility. What we are able to, what we use to control the feed or manage the waste that comes in is what we call our SCADA system. It is an HMI, human machine interface, where we are able to see real time what is happening on the field. Aside the cameras, these are also giving us indications. As you see here, there are pumps, there are mixers, there are flow meters giving us exactly what is happening. Then I also mentioned earlier that we have online monitors. Because we are a company, we are supposed to meet some EPA regulatory requirements before we are able to discharge the waste. And then we have online monitors which gives us indication. There are alarm systems that will blow when any of them moves out of range, and it is very crucial because you have no idea who is using the river or the stream in which you are feeding your waste to. So I think Raki Mama, you asked the question as in what happens to, what are we doing to tap into the resource of the treated waste instead of letting it go or using it for washing. There is a bit of stigmatization associated with anything coming out from this place. So even with the compost that they mentioned, we produce what we call activated sludge. It is very high in NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and calcium. And so there is another research into adding that blend to what the solid waste produce, and then we'll use it for to enrich the compost. That is another blend. But because there is a stigma attached to everything fecal, so fecal is, let's say, the English name for toilet. And basically, people rather prefer we say fecal instead of the toilet. But that is what we actually do here. Today, as at now, we've received about 85 to 90 trucks, and it's a 24-hour system. Trucks come in anytime to have people here all day, 24/7. We are also running on the national grid, but then we have concluded plans and installing a solar system, although there is a standby generator to work on that. So before we go on the plan, like I said earlier, these are real-time systems, but we have a model of the plant here that per safety requirement, we are supposed to let everyone who comes, before we go on the tour, the person is to take the person to a safety induction, just a few seconds. I'll let the safety officer come in. We use about 30 seconds to 1 hour to 1 minute. We are done, and then we go on the site.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'll indulge you all so that we can see that. So this is a miniature of the plant. You came through this entrance. It's known as the main entrance. We have two entrances, one for cargo and one for main. What we do is, because of safety, we do not allow the septic trucks to mingle with the smaller trucks and cars that come in. So with the cargo entrance, it's a one-way system. They come through here, dislodge, and then go out through the same entrance. With the smaller trucks or the ones that you came through, you come through here, you park here, and then you go out through the same system. So we'll be moving on to the plant. Right now, where we are in the administration building. This is the building that we are in now. Right? So we'll be moving here and then going through this access point, and then we'll start here. So the explanation we are going to give on the plant, we'll start here at the receiving bay, where we'll give you a full explanation. This entire miniature of the plant, we classify this place as a high-risk area. That's the biological system. It's a tank which is about 6 meters deep. So when I say 6 meters, it's about 2 or 3 times some of our heights here. So what we do is when we go there, anybody that goes there requires a permit. However, because of this trip and everything, my boss told me that we'll be going there, and so we've done all the necessary safety things that we need to do. All I advise is that when we go there, nobody leans on the guardrails. We just go through he does the explanation, and then we come down. However, also on this plant, if there's an emergency, behind us there's an emergency assembly point. If you can look back, there's a green safety sign there, which is right here on the miniature. So if there's any emergency, we all gather here and then we can get further instructions to you. Thank you very much, and welcome to Kumasi Wastewater Treatment Plant.
So the plant works 24 hours?
Yes.
Non-stop?
Yes.
It doesn't sleep?
Yes.
So we have 2 lines, you can see from here. Everything that is here, we have standby and then working, but the lines are all active. We are running the line. If you have a challenge with one, you start one line, work on that line, while the other line is active and running. Okay. And then we'll briefly go to the lab, see the analysis.
The standard that the EPA set for us. So in the lab, we monitor, we go to the plant for samples, and then we go to the plant for samples each day. Then we analyze for temperature, pH. You know, all these parameters have a bearing on the external environment where we discharge our water. So we monitor them, and we also use the same parameter to monitor our operations. Yeah, so for the COD, which is chemical oxygen demand, help us to know the extent of production that is coming into our plant and make sure that our plant is within and work to reduce it to the barest minimum or to the standard that is supposed to go into the environment. So we monitor the pH, the temperature, and also we do COD. COD is chemical oxygen demand. It's a reaction that we did with high temperature. We also monitor the BOD, that's biological oxygen demand. Also shows us the extent of production. But this one, we monitor it within 5 days. It's for 5 days. So that's why we normally dwell on the COD, which is a chemical reaction. Yes. Then we also monitor TSS, total suspended solids. Total suspended solids, you know, its effect on the waterway. If we allow more solids into the waterway, clog the system, and virtually the water becomes dead. Yeah, in no time. Then also we monitor the nutrients.
Maybe because of time, we'll do the other explanation.
Okay.
So what you are currently seeing are trucks that are discharging. They come in from the community, from the various districts with the waste. When they come in, what we do is we take their details and their activity. We want to make this comes in our class. So please let me coordinate it very well. So this is what happens every day. We have about 100 to 150 trucks coming in. And then we connect our hoses to the trucks, like the yellow one is happening there. We dislodge the waste. Some of them, their hoses are quite good, so that's why you have a few construction there. But most of them are within their own dislodge in a safe manner. And then I mentioned earlier, I want us to see our spring different sizes. The trucks are of different sizes. Solid associated with it. One of our final products is what we call the activated sludge. It is produced in this building. At the end of the tour, I would let you see one of our products, which is called the charcoal briquette. So at this point, please, we would have to get down here. Then we'll go to our main treatment system, which is the heart of our plant, please. Chairman, this is what we call the heart of our treatment system, the biological basin. If something happens to this basin,
we are in a lot of trouble. So we are holding a lot of volumes in here. And when we receive the waste, within 3 to 4 hours, it gets to what we call the oxygen. One of the parameters that they do check in the lab as well is dissolved oxygen. The animals or the microorganisms in the wastewater cannot take up this normal air. So give them dissolved oxygen, oxygen in the dissolved form that they can breathe. So if we introduce this one into a nearby stream or anything, we are safe to do that. So this is the heart. Now I want us to see the final product. From here we go to what we call the secondary tank, which is just adjacent to this one. Then we go to our final tank. But there won't be a need to go to the secondary tank. We'll go to the final tank straight, where you will see what comes in and then what goes out, please.
I don't know if you get my point.
In fact, everything flows underground from the basin. All our lines are kind of fluid. So they come through the UV system, and then we come to our final effluent. You can just come and have it. What you see here actually is not the color, it is the overflow. And so we have done, yes, so this is actually what is happening. What came in is on our left, and our final product is on the right. Yes. So we have what we call the clear water and clean water. The difference is that clean water is what we can drink. Clear water needs another step of processing before. Yes, it's right. Yes. All these things they have to use. But then for the trucks that come in and everything, use this water a lot on the plant. Washing, landscaping, even in our washrooms and all those things. Even the farm, the miniature thing is done, they use this water we are working with. We have catfish as well in these tanks that we are trying to see how they are going to survive. So this is the end. For now, that is the end. Because like I mentioned, it costs a lot to add a tertiary treatment.
There's not any, bacteria.
For after here, it means the enemy and so we are able to destroy. Like I said, if it doesn't, if any of the parameters move onto them, then we have to recycle.
We started doing that in Accra.
Mr. Chair, please, sorry, there is the last one of the charcoal briquette. Maybe I would have to let people have a view. This came from the sludge or from yes, I'm coming there, yes. The charcoal briquette. Yes. This is what we speak about. No smell, smokeless.
If we don't tell you it's from us, as a human excreta, you never know. But this is it, and when you have this, you save peace, because this one will serve as your charcoal, and then you see when you go to most of the pubs and the bars, the shisha, yes, that is what that is what is used, and this is the charcoal. You have this, you save the forest, smokeless. And it also lasts very long because of how compact it is, because of the inbuilt gases and all that. It's a very good thing, and it's something that we should, if we want to go green, this is something that we should do.
So this will be the final. As we see, a lot of trucks will be coming. All the time they are coming. About 100 to 150 trucks every day. And we have to sell. So thank you very much.
So thank you very much, James. Please, team, we have to move on to the medical waste treatment facility.
Let's get listened to the machine. Once the waste bin gets here, there are sensors that notifies the machine that the bin has been placed in there ready for treatment. So it goes up, and once it goes up, the lid is opening. If the bin gets to the top, there are sensors that also identify that this bin has gotten to the top. So the lid will be open for the waste to be released into the receptacle over here. Over here is where we have the shredding blades. It shreds the waste into tiny pieces, and you could see from here the shredded material in there. So you could see how the the materials have been shredded in there. Over here too, we have a stirrer, which stirs the waste to make sure that the moisture content in the waste is uniformly distributed. The reason being that this is a microwave machine. So with the microwave machine, it uses the moisture within the waste to generate the internal heat, just like microwaving a food. So once the microwave radiations are released into the waste, it is called the preheating stage. Then the waste is now heated to temperatures of about 100 degrees Celsius. Over here we have the holding tank. This is what we call the holding tank. So it holds the heated waste for about 20 minutes to ensure that all the harmful microorganisms are sterilized. It operates in the first in, first out principle. So the waste that was initially treated will first also come out. So this is how the final product looks like. So you can see that the waste has been removed. It's what we extract the plastic from it to convert it to grow the compost. Especially when people are using this rated, burning the wood, pollutants released into the atmosphere. You can see this process is following emission.
Most part of Africa. I'm saying, me who's idea be the yada. It's Mama. Now, me just have one year so abo. Just born. A pasopa say Nyankopon ye papa Makio Pentecost Nyankopon tiase. Wa man adwin papa. Wa man adwin papa. How dey papa say about my I'm say, oh, president, is the president. One man I give papa, or the papa say about my mom. But young upon some quandam. Now, it's second a phone, you know, I won't check. Yeah, and then anyone on tea or radio so say. And then coming names apart from Sadar Kubia, our company, we were motorway kind so. Name said just one group. I will institution say, produce over 3,000 bags of fertilizer every day. And in fact, say you are phone na wakana memo ha stakeholders cocoa board for obibia to nani enter ha and are buying so in say a private person benya ngina sopa for pempa to me agina aben akona nima nyina your government support aban support ebe here say aban as a Ghanaian they be am say be a lawmaker, but I believe in made in Ghana goods and products. Everything, every Ghanaian owned business piano, me support pa. Say yes so. Say obiti baby na onim say ni papi wo Ghana hapa. Cheni pa say Ghana haru nyumba papa wa ha. Enti yesre obi bia say enyina yemwa. Yenim say ye select committee on sanitation and water resources. We san nyumba yi ebua ma ye reduce sanitation problems and challenges in the country. You said there are a few more challenges as a committee, you know, we'll take it on board to ensure say problems are who were the various municipal assemblies, you know, a subaba form. And one say aban chafa say aban betria company service providers, you know, eka. You know, over 2 years in aban the Zoom Lion, any just form, omujuma dienu eka. Na nyamin chadiye aban foforo yi ayen hihye budget ya colleague ya senior member colleague in parliament ya former leader Atufos editor about a month ago or two no there were about 13 billion Ghana cedis captured in it you be clear arrears a car aban edi private companies and many other service providers rural sector all the sectors in the country no express Zoom Lion and I say just one group
Omudumede bi a omudima aban bi a aban di omuka bia no eka no yentumi mboa na yentua se na be ya Ghana fo a omo adwuma from nsa ese non payment nti ukọ the bill this asa na ye rural MP ukọ me place a bibia ye campaign kura ma fo bisa ezumla ye adwuma ya anya bi anye adwuma ye betumi ya na ezumla yo mu mpa bi mba ma ye nye everywhere it comes across omo ye Ghana fo they are not foreigners it is a payment it me release na ye boa ezumla yo aba ma kwan bie kwan ma na tumi afa etua enkwala naka na atuma bie kwan so ama ya fa bebre wonam so amhwe enim so manya adwuma ye no e be fa bebre ama o manya adwuma ye
I think it is 1.2 billion na aban ede Zoom Lion no
definitely because Zoom Lion create enyuma metuna ka say or you're one of the major employers of our citizens of this country, Ghanaians in this country. So be it me at Jumakuna or Fagana for Bebria or Mansako Manoa. I mean, I was and one I was a Buano, and then can buy a yen and I buying, we are green, yellow, black, red, we are Ganani, a buying a yen and I buying. Just as a buying Sua, President John Dramani Mahama, a dear name, we are committed. A DPR, a ben new to the benefit of Ghanaians, or Taitri. A kitchen beer, a cabia, at the hobbyano, Obitia, a clear.
Before I said
But if you come to Ghana as the rivers, so it goes without saying that you don't actually generate huge revenues from facilities like this. And these are social interventions that we are putting forward. For instance, we have a teeming unemployment issues in the country, and these facilities help to solve one of such challenges. Again, we have health issues. Without facilities like this, you'd have our waste being in our drainage systems and then causing flooding. You have organics being in the open space at the disposal sites, and these ones will emanate methane gases, which will contribute negatively to our greenhouse gas effect on the planet. So when we have such facilities like this, it is only fair that government comes in to help, so that the entity or the private individuals who are championing this cause can do more. Facilities like these we have in this country, we have about 16, so to speak, and then in all the regional capitals we are present there, receiving and processing waste into useful products. For instance, organics are an issue, plastics are issues, the metals are also causing serious issues. It goes without saying that in an annual basis, Ghana generates about 1 million plastic waste, and then only 2 to 5% of these waste is only processed. So if we have a lot of these facilities around, it means that we can continue to increase the quantity of plastic waste that are actually handled on a yearly basis to reduce the effects or the ill impacts of plastics in the environment. Again, when it comes to the sewage treatment plants and the likes, hitherto before the advent of these facilities, people were dislodging waste directly into the water body, so the upstream was being polluted and then affecting the downstream. But because we have such interventions, it is ameliorating these health issues, and it's a good thing that government should support, I should say.
What are the major challenges?
I've said that is the operations here actually is hugely capital intensive, and then we need funding support from government agencies to make sure that we keep our operations ongoing. We receive the waste free of charge. People bring in liquid waste free of charge to the plant. The motorized tricycles and the likes bring in their waste free of charge to the facility. And this facility works 24/7. So if we want to keep on running, then we have to be funded well, so that we can keep our gates open to receive more waste and then process them, so that waste does not become an inimical issue to the environment.
So your company is old, has been told by the government. Then this committee is saying that they will pick it up and then ensure that the government pays you back this money. How do we act?
I think it's a very laudable gesture from the committee, and it's something that is long overdue. We've worked for almost 5 years, and then we are owed for between 3 to 4 years. But we are still running, we are still receiving waste, we are still processing waste, so that Greater Kumasi and then the Ashanti region, and then by extension Ghana, will be a cleaner and a healthier place. So if the committee has recognized the debt that government owes us, and they are willing and ready to pay, I think it's a call in the right direction.
Can you clarify, is it 2 or 4 years?
So
The debt
So they were tackling different issues. So there's SIP, there is fumigation, there's the process plants. Okay, so if we want to single out K-Cup, we are out for about 3.5 to 4 years.
Is K-Cup having a